Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. I have with me Chris Vest, who is the director of Xtreme Baseball up in Galesburg, Illinois. Got him in his car. They just got back from a trip to Orange, Alabama, correct, sir?
Yes, Orange Beach, Alabama for a big USSSA Global World Series.
And from what I saw on Facebook, you guys won.
Yeah. It was a little tough getting started. It rained a whole bunch, got a lot of cancellation delays, but the boys played well on bracket Sunday, so that's all that matters.
Money time, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us today, Chris. And we're trying to get perspective. One of the things about our show is it's the Midwest, and I always like to talk to people not just within St. Louis, but throughout the Midwest, get perspective on what's happening, not just in our area, but elsewhere. And one of the things that we're dealing with now, and I'm sure there were challenges in a smaller area. What do you face as far as putting teams together in Galesburg, Illinois?
Yeah, it's definitely a little tougher for a program, coming from an area of our size. The immediate town, Galesburg, is only about 35,000 people, and so we have to pull a lot from around the surrounding area to do it. And unfortunately for us, we're right between the Quad Cities and Peoria, which are two bigger areas, so a lot more teams in those areas. So we have a little competition with them to get kids, but we're holding our own. We do all right. We really push the family part of it with us, and all of our teams travel together for the most part, and so that way if you got siblings, it makes it a little easier. You don't have to split up or whatever, but try to do a couple things like that to be a little different.
And that's, you got to try and do something to help parents because there's cost involved and things of that nature. Yeah.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. If they got multiple ones, it makes it a little easier when they know they're going to the same spot. So they don't have to split up and two entry fees, 2 gate fees, all that good stuff. So
when did you guys, oh, I'm sorry, man. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
you
good.
there.
You're good.
When did you guys start your club?
We started in 2011 was our first year. With my oldest son, we had a group of kids that we played in a local town league, and we put an all-star teams together at the end of the year, and just had a lot of them that wanted to do that all year round, so to speak, and so we just kind of decided, what the heck, we'll try it, see what happens, and here we are, all these years later, still going strong. So we've done something right anyway.
So with putting these teams together, you're in your area, you're competing with these other groups. What do you guys, your backgrounds? I know it's tough. Sometimes people say, well, how is my son going to get better? How do you guys answer that question?
Well, I think for us, the biggest thing is we try to have the same approach from the top down. Every level that the kid plays at, he's going to get basically taught the same way. We try to bring in outside sources. We got a couple of small, like Division III colleges in our immediate area, so we try to bring those guys in. Any chance we get to bring in even some of our older players who have gone on and are either playing in high school or college, we try to get them to come back and help out in any way they can. But I think the biggest thing is just try to keep the philosophy the same from the top down, and know that we got the indoor facility over the winter time that they come in and work out in, and they're getting all the same instruction from me as they get from our 8 or 9 U coach. So try to just keep it consistent. I think is the biggest thing.
I believe in that model. I have a motto that I've used in business since my younger days. It was something that somebody said to me, and consistency breeds success.
Sure.
And I do believe that. And do you see that consistency helping your kids be successful?
Oh, I think so. It's one of those things. The group that I've got now, I coach my youngest son's team, which is 12U, the one that just came back from Orange Beach, and we've got a core group of those kids that started with us when they were 7 and 8 years old, and now it's just the little things you don't have to talk to them about. They just know, they do. They help the other teams with the little stuff. If they're sitting around watching one of the other teams play and they see them not do it, the way we want it done, they'll stop them and say, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. I think it just keeping it the same across the board has just helped, because we've had some kids that have moved up in age or played down in age or however it is. And if it's the same, there's not that hiccup of trying to learn a new system with a different coach, So it just being consistent, I think, has helped us be pretty successful. So we're going to keep trying it.
There you go. When you guys are looking to the future, we have a lot of challenges facing us, as we've all seen, with just, and I'm not talking about baseball and parents and things like that. We're facing these challenges that are in our country. What do you see the future of youth baseball? How are you guys dealing with what's coming down the pipe here?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is part of when we started this whole thing was we felt like baseball was just kind of our avenue to help teach some things bigger than baseball too, and so we're trying to stay positive, trying to teach some life lessons through the process, and keep the kids motivated to keep getting better themselves and all of that. And as far as a lot of the restrictions we've had, it's made things tough for raising money and doing those types of things. But we keep trying to get a little creative and come up with some interesting ways to to keep things rolling and get some money coming in, because that part's gotten to be probably the toughest part. But
I think that's the toughest for everybody, in these situations. And so, we'll have to see what happens, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, well, Chris, I appreciate your time. And you know what, man? I know we didn't get to see you. I know you guys have been down here, running in some Game 7 tournaments in the past. And hopefully that can be, we'll see you back down here again next season, yeah?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We had one set up to come down here see you in April, and then everything kind of went sideways. So hopefully we'll get something set up. I was actually thinking about with my team. My team wants to keep running, so we might look at something before you guys are done down there. So
hey, that'd be great, man. Would love to see you down here. I think you guys do a great job. Follow you, so congrats on the win. Big
Thank
time.
You. Thank you.
That's huge, man.
You. I appreciate it.
So, hey, everybody, Chris Vest, Xtreme Baseball up in Galesburg, Illinois, and we'll be right back.
It's a different weekend than normal. We're still playing ball, but it's a different weekend. There's a different feel in the air. Do you feel it?
Yeah.
You know why we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Man, we're very blessed to even get to run and throw the ball and play. Those are things Jordy didn't get to experience. You know what I mean? So we are blessed to represent for this weekend. Our baseball brother is here, and we got his back in every single way. And we are going to fight all weekend long until the end. You got me?
Yeah.
We fight for this. We fight for each other. It's all about family, especially this weekend. You with me?
Yeah.
Right from the start, we're Jordy Strong all weekend, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Jordy Strong on 3? Yeah. Jordy Strong on 3. 1, 2, 3, Jordy Strong! Go, boys.
Hey, everybody, I have with me today Brett Bognar of the Greater St. Louis Association of Umpires. I have to say that slow so I don't mess it up. And Brett, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks again for having me on. It's always great time talking with you, and always a good time to talk officiating as well.
Absolutely. I want to ask you a couple things here. We've talked a little bit. You're on the committee with GSL that is about recruiting whomever. I know. Is there an age group? Let me ask you this, and I don't mean this to be. I'm an official. I started late in life. I started when I was 40-some years old or something like that. 40, something like that. Had a good time doing it, but is there a specific age group that you're looking at that you want to bring in that you feel that you can put them in a good situation and have that training and create a situation where you have a good official for 20, 25 years?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I didn't get into officiating until I was in my 30s, which now I'm near the end of my 30s now. But that was something that I feel that my playing experiences, my coaching experiences, I talk about with my wife all the time of, maybe if I didn't have those experiences, I don't know if I ever would have got into officiating. But we're not really necessarily targeting a certain age group. We just want people to know that, hey, at one point in time, you had a love for whatever game that you played, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, any of the sports. Obviously, for us, we're with baseball and softball with the Greater St. Louis Umpire Association. But, we want a lot of our younger youth that maybe they just wrapped up their high school seasons. They graduated high school, and maybe they're not going on to play college athletics, which is fine. But we want them to know that we've got a great training ground here in St. Louis. Our association provides a lot of training materials, a lot of in-person trainings, in-game feedback. And we want them to know, too, that, you can go work a summer job, but I can guarantee you're not going to have a summer job where you can have as much fun as you do on a baseball field or a softball field, and the financial reward for it. You can make anywhere in a game from $30 up to $70 for one game. And the great thing about that is you can do multiple games a day, and you'll get a lot of feedback. And the more games that you work and the more reps that you get, the better you become. But the one thing we've noticed with our younger generations, it's, do they really want to do this? They're kind of in that age group where they have gone through their tournaments or their playing career where they've seen the crazy coach going off on an umpire, or maybe the parents in the stands. I can speak from personal experience. I'll be honest, I've never really experienced those situations. Have we had ejections with coaches or players? Sure, it's going to happen. But that's one thing we really train and we pride ourselves on is how do we manage the game? How do you manage it before it even escalates to that point? Because there is a certain protocol that we've got to follow on the field. But it's training that aspect and kind of training individuals and umpires to be basically being comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
And that, I'm on Misha's website here. I have this up. Mm-hmm. There's a veteran official hanging it up because of unruly behavior by parents. Now, I'm not going to read. This was about soccer, and this was the man. Okay, if I can say, if I'm gonna go down, and he quit because of that. He made a statement, but I want to go down and read a statement they have from a West Virginia youth football league, which closed down. He says, and this is from the president of that association. He says, unfortunately, it has come to the point that because of the abuse, negativity, and utter disrespect shown to our officials from parents, coaches, and most recently from our players, the Eastern Panhandle Officials Association president stated today that the association will no longer schedule officials for our league games at any field. This means effective immediately, all remaining games are canceled. How do you address those things, Brett? When you people are out there, there's these guys, when they're coming to you and saying, "Yeah, I could be an official, but I've read this." How do you answer that, bud?
Yeah, and one thing I always tell any official, look, we are out there to do a job, but that doesn't mean that you're better than the team on the third base dugout or the team on the first base dugout. There's 3 teams on that field. Communication, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in officiating, it's the number one key factor. You've got to learn to communicate, and you got to be able to show respect. When we get new officials into it, it is a big concern. Am I going to be chased off the field? Am I going to have to call the cops? Fortunately, I haven't had to be any part of those situations, but we know that those situations, they take place. So what we like to do with our younger officials or even our first year or second year officials, whether they're an 18-year-old or they're a 50-year-old, we like to put them with veterans. And the reason for that is our veteran guys have been on the field. They know the majority of the coaches. If a situation does arrive, typically in most instances, those veterans can go calm that situation down. But the biggest thing with officiating is how are you perceived? We talk a lot about, appearance. How does your uniform look on you when you walk out of your vehicle to walk onto the field? How do you walk onto the field? Do you look like you want to be there? There's a lot of steps before that first pitch is even thrown that can kind of dictate how that game may go. And we talk about it. I mean, we're in the technology era that every game that we're seeing now, there's going to be a lot of photos, a lot of videos. We're starting to see, and I'm sure you've even seen at some of the Game 7 tournaments and the other venues you've been at. I mean, they're live streaming games now. Yeah. So we see that a lot on the college level. I mean, you have to be very aware of your surroundings, which it kind of puts a little light bulb in your head of like, hey, when a situation does arise, how does it look? And I'll be honest, I mean, any game that I know that there's video at, typically within the next 24 to 48 hours, I will find that link and watch that game. And it's nothing more than to critique myself and I text or call my partner and be like, hey, on that play, did you notice the positioning, or did we hear the coaches in the dugouts? Because sometimes you get in that tunnel vision, especially for me, when I'm on the plate, I'm tunnel vision. I don't want to miss a pitch. But you'll start to hear coaches every now and then. But it's one of those things that more feedback we can get. It's a lot easier to train. And I'll be honest, I mean, I've used my own personal videos from my own screw-ups to show future officials and current officials, hey, this is a situation that if I could have handled better, we alleviated a lot of headache. So don't make that mistake that I did. So, but yeah, it's a total grooming process.
I think one of the interesting points you brought up is, especially behind the plate as a baseball official, the level of concentration and focus that you need. You talk about hitters, these guys, you're seeing at the high school level from 70 on up to 90. It depends. But for the average, you're in that low 70 to low 80s range. And I don't care. It's still a fastball, and you have to pay attention. You have to be aware. You have to be on top of it. And I always felt it was interesting when, I've seen people get upset at coaches. They're like, come on, Blue, that was it. Where was that? Where was that? Where was that? And I've always felt like, if I'm a coach, if he's a coach, he's standing up for his players. He's doing his job. He's trying to get, if he can get an edge, it's up to me not to allow that coach to get in my head and continue to call the game as you see it in the fair way, according to the rule book, according to the strike zone. And if you as an official do that, I know for a fact, because I've experienced it, you'll gain the respect of those guys. There will be coaches out there that like to test you. Am I wrong?
Oh no, you're very right. And it goes back to communication. Yeah. I've had a lot of great mentors along the way. I've worked with a lot of great umpires. And the one thing I love to do after a game is discuss the game. What could I have, how would you have handled this situation? How did we get to that situation? It's a lot of communicating with coaches. I mean, I'm a big proponent that we're on there to do it. We're out there to do a job. We are getting paid for it, so we need to do it to the best of our abilities. But along with that goes a lot of respect. I mean, me personally, I think it's important to call their coach by the first name. I want the coach and I to be on a first name basis because I really think that sets a tone personally to where now we can have a conversation. It's not him yelling at me or I'm barking at him. Now we're having a conversation. Now maybe in between innings, maybe the coach comes out and just has a discussion with me of, hey, where are those pitches? I'll discuss it with them. I'll let you know where it is if you want to handle it in a professional manner. But also when there's times that we've got to address it, we've got to be a little more stern. I mean, each umpire has their own forte of how they communicate and how they deal with them. And that's one thing that we really try to stress for our individual umpires is take little niblets and bits and pieces of what you're learning from different umpires that umpire at different levels and institute that into your game of how you handle situations.
Right. I think those are, and that's what we want to try and talk about here is giving advice to, if you're a young official and you're watching, we hope that these are things that help you. And this is another reason why an association is a positive scenario, correct?
Yeah. The great thing with association is, I've always grew up playing team sports. I love being a part of something. I love to give back to the craft that I've really gotten into any way that I can. Within our association, you're going to have members that are anywhere from 18 to 19 years old to we have some members that are in their 70s. But there's a wide range of experience that have kept them doing what they're doing. To me, when you're a part of something, you start to get into what we call that umpire brotherhood or sisterhood, to where you're really getting to know umpires. You're going to work with those umpires numerous times throughout the course of the season, and you may work another sport with that umpire as well. But you kind of learn how to have a feel for each other on the field and know what each other's going to do. Because just like there's plays for football and there's plays for softball and baseball, there's plays for when we're umpiring. You have to know where your partner is going to be. And once you've worked with that umpire several times, you really develop that good team atmosphere and a feel for what they're going to do, whether they're behind the plate or when they're in the field.
So, Brett, we'll get you out of here on this. You got some people looking to become an official and whatnot. What do they need to do, man? Where can they get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so they can, I see they got our website down there. They can obviously contact us on our website. We have a questionnaire on there. And Brian, feel free to put my personal contact information on there. I'm more than happy to share that. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm willing to talk on the phone or text or email. Any way that we can start to really get more people into seeing what we do and how we do it. I really think you'll see a big trend of, hey, when an official walks on the field, like, they're there to do a job. They're not trying to call for one team or the other. They're there to do the job because they love the game and they love being out there. And let's face it, no good competition can ever be done without an official. So feel free to share my information. They can reach out to me personally. I'm more than happy to discuss with them, the route that I've gone with my officiating or how they can become a part of GSL as well.
Outstanding. Folks, hope you got Brett, as always. Great stuff, man. I really do appreciate you being with us today. And I'm sure, I know I'm going to shoot something and have you come back and talk to me. So
for sure, I appreciate it. Thanks again, Brian.
All right, you have a great day.
You too.
Ooh, that's going to wrap it up for us today here on Youth Baseball Midwest. We're glad you tuned in, and remember, hitters, hit them where they ain't. Pitchers, keep throwing strikes. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. We'll see you next time.